We're back deep in the north woods of North Danville at the Cary Sugarbush, and it's the beginning of spring.
Yep, sugaring season right around the corner for us here.
Yeah, and you've started tapping.
Yep, started tapping about a week ago.
Okay.
We have 2,300 taps here on 25 acres,
Yep.
so 300 to 500 good quality taps a day is what we're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. How long does it take you to completely tap those?
We're shooting for 5 days to a week with repairs.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And when are you expecting your first big run? Is it already running? Are you already bringing sap in?
We're bringing in a little sap. Yeah, we've had maybe 500 gallons from the last run. It's pretty cold here last night in the negatives, so we have some warm temperatures coming up, but these trees are solid and take a little time to thaw. So.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So that's what you're looking for then, warmer days and colder nights?
Exactly. Starts the sap flowing process. The sap goes up the tree and falls down, and that's where we catch it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the pressure is pushing the sap up.
Okay.
And then we catch it as it falls.
Okay. All right. And so as part of the sap tapping process, you need to check lines and repair damage. Do you get a lot of damage from, say, deer or moose?
We don't have the deer and moose damage yet, but we're getting some squirrels chewing on the lines, creating a lot of holes or micro leaks is what we call them. We run high vacuum, so 27 inches plus of vacuum, so it'll pull even the tiniest leak in our tubing system here will pull cold air when the sap is running and freeze things up. So even the tiniest little bite or little pinprick is what we're looking for right now.
Yeah. So a lot of your work is really maintaining the integrity of the line.
Yep. We've got our conductor, we call it, is 1.5 inch tubing. Our 1-inch main lines flow into the 1.5 inch, and the 5/16 take it from the tree to the 1 inch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And it looks like even these bigger trees, you're only putting in one tap.
Yeah, that's some recent information. They're doing some studies, UVM Proctor Center, and they're finding that you're really not going to get much more sap from 2 taps. You're going to put in 2 holes, so there's more damage to the tree, more possibilities for a leak. Yeah. So in our situation, our trees have been tapped for historically quite a long time, so we want to minimize damage and keep the open wood for tapping in the future.
So year after year, if you make a tap hole, can you just go right next to it and make another hole, or do you have to move and find good wood, for lack of a better term?
Yep. So what we're looking for is exactly good wood, good white wood. When the tree has a wound from a tap, it compartmentalizes the wound, so it's making a tree wound. Yeah, tree wound, and it's closing up on itself, and that wood doesn't flow. The sap doesn't flow out of that wood, so it runs up and down mostly. So we try to stay at least 4 inches to the left and right, and at least a foot away from these old taps.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Quite a
so
distance.
you eventually can run out of good wood to tap a tree on?
Yeah. So we call it the tapping band. Our drops here are about 3 feet in length, and that can give us 3 feet up, and since we're on high vacuum, 3 feet down. We can go below the lateral and pull the sap up to a certain extent. So we're finding on a lot of these trees that we're having to go below the lateral.
Gotcha.
But we keep our vacuum high and it will pull the sap up, no problem.
Nice. So it sounds like you're really staying in touch with cutting edge research.
Yes.
And
exactly.
I know that the Proctor Research Center has been around for quite some time. Was it the 60s that it started?
I believe so. There was another research center in Burlington, and that eventually moved into the Proctor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So,
and there's a lot of guidance from those folks. They do a lot of good work, a lot of research that certainly guides what we do out in the woods. So.
Do they solicit data from you guys?
Yep. So we have, there's individual sugar makers all over Vermont that send data to them. There's a bigger scale USDA crop survey that we all try to give our data to, and they can interpret the yield, the average yield for every state that produces, and overall for the country.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I noticed that you actually have some data transponders in the tubing.
Yeah.
That sounds really high-tech.
Very high-tech,
What are you monitoring there?
So with those sensors, we call them, we're monitoring the vacuum at the end of each of our 1-inch main lines.
Okay.
So we have about 36 of those, and these sensors work in a mesh network, so they're constantly sending information to each other back to our main gateway, and then I can look at it at my phone. So we're measuring the vacuum. So we're going to find where the leaks are, the lower vacuum. You'll see at night when it starts to freeze, the spots I talked about earlier that will draw in the cold air, they'll freeze solid.
Yeah.
So no vacuum to your lines. And you know I've got a problem on line 6. I'm going to hit that in the morning, clear it up, see what we've got.
And if you've got a frozen spot on the line, I mean, like, do you go out there with a hair dryer or something? How do you open that
So
up?
I have, we use a blowtorch. You can use a heat gun, battery-powered heat gun.
Okay.
Yep, just gently heat that up, hit it with your hammer a little bit, and whoosh, the vacuum sucks it out.
Yeah. So this is a super, super busy time of year for
Very
you.
busy, very busy.
When it comes time to start boiling, you putting in 10, 12, 14-hour days?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So, yeah, definitely some of those we're looking at, but we've made an advancement in our little Sugarbush here that we use an RO, so we'll concentrate the sap.
And what does RO mean?
RO is reverse osmosis.
Okay.
So we are taking the sap at roughly anywhere from 1 to 3% sugar.
Okay.
And we're using filters and membranes and pressure to separate, in most cases, impurities. But in our case, we want the sugars.
Gotcha.
So you have permeate, which is H2O, nothing else in it.
Water,
yeah. And our concentrated sugar. So one of the issues is that concentrated sugar is prone to spoilage, bacteria, more sugar. Yeah, you've passed it through, you've heated it up a little bit with this pressure. So usually we're really tied to boiling that concentrate very quickly. But we've invested in a little cold room so we can hold that concentrate and build it up to more efficiently process it in our evaporator.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll shave off a few of the hours here coming up.
Yeah. Well, we will be back with the camera when it's time to boil.
Yeah, exciting.
And certainly looking forward to more episodes with you. It's always an education. You know, I grew up sugaring in the 70s on the family farm, and we actually had a wood-fired arch.
Right.
And we used to draw the foam down with little bits of butter.
Fat.
I used to see my grandfather take balsam fir bough and dip the balsam fir needles.
Keep all that foam down. Yeah.
So things have really, really progressed.
They have, Chip. They have.
Super exciting for me both to be a part of this, and I always learn a lot from you, Chris. Thanks so much for your knowledge.
Absolutely, Chip.
Yeah. Up in the North Danville Cary Sugarbush, Agent Tremper, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Let's go tap some trees.
Yes, sir.